It was synergistic, right? You just grimaced. And so, you know what I'm getting at? Now, if you could tell me what it means, that's okay. And I bet we couldn't find 3 same definitions if I all had you write it down right now on a piece of paper secretly and then read them back to me. You've all heard the word, right? Synergy? Some of you are even guilty of using it. I know you've all had it inflicted on you. Could you tell me what it means? I mean, really, for sure, I know. Is there any hope that you all would know what it means? Chances are, I would win a lot of money, because I would make the bet on that. The other one, because I also think this is another disease lately, don't reject expertise. Matter of fact, I'm encouraging you to seek it out. Matter of fact, the more expert somebody is than you are, seek them out. Embrace their expertise. Celebrate the fact that they're smarter, or at least at this point in their life, more informed than you are. Enjoy that. It's good. It should also make you feel humble. Like, ooh, I'm not nearly as smart as I thought I was. That's a good thing. And then look around and say, oh, the people I heard from last time weren't as smart as this person. I need to listen to that. Because then ideally, you would know what that means and how important and influential that could be. Because then at some point, my hope is that the state of Illinois invested all this money and that you would eventually become experts in whatever it is. So expert doesn't mean in a thing, a specific thing you have to choose, but the thing you choose to do. That also means work. I'll come to that in a minute. But the fact is that don't reject it. I think we've rejected expertise for advocacy, and I think that's a mistake. You can be both. You could be an expert in something and advocate, but just because you advocate doesn't give you expertise. You could be clueless, which really makes you dangerous. And we end up with all these clueless people trying to say they're speaking and that, well, it's a matter of opinion. It's not. You either really know something or you really don't. And you're welcome to your opinion, but it's more like a person with a handgun and no license. They're dangerous. So don't be that. You all have, as you leave here, the potential to become an expert in your field. You're missing it if you don't. I know everybody I've encountered in class, maybe you have a few you don't agree with me on, but everybody I've encountered in class, you all have the potential for it. I know you do. Remember, it's not a thing that I'm thinking of, it's the thing you're thinking of. Because if you don't like it, being an expert in something you don't like sounds like a nightmare to me. Because I love what I study. Matter of fact, that's all I ever do. I read it all the time. My wife's like, why don't you read a real book? I'm like, this is a real book. And she's fascinated, which is kind of creepy. She's fascinated with murder mysteries and stuff, which means that my life is probably on a short span. But I'm like, no, this is a real book. That's all I want to do. I would hope that for you. That doesn't mean there aren't moments where you don't hate it for whatever reason you're bored of it. But that if you had the thing that you really like to do, then you become an expert at it. It's really not going to work either. Although there are days it'll feel like work, no matter what you do. Second, and I think this is an incredibly important one I'm talking about as far as ethics go. Do you really listen? Like, are you really listening right now? Looks like most of you are, more so than when I'm in class, which is not a happy thing. But the fact that, do you understand what I mean when I say listening? Like, are you listening, waiting for the other person to shut up, so you get the zinger in, or say something clever, or just get away from them? Or are you actually like listening, because that takes effort, right? To listen to somebody and actually process what's coming out of their mouth? And are you willing to be honest with them or say, why do you think that? What does that mean? Or if you were really listening, you might be able to go back a minute and a half in the conversation and say, you said this. Why? Most people aren't listening to each other. I know you've experienced it. You've looked at people and you've looked at their face while you're talking, and you can see they're processing their comeback, or they're lost. Now, they may be sleepy, that's a different thing. But the fact that you're not, if you're listening, you're living in, you're being authentic with the person you're interacting with. Now, if that person's just saying garbage endlessly, then walk away from it. You don't have to listen. You don't. That's part of the democratic process. I have the right to speech, yes, and I have the right not to listen. But if you're going to listen, do it. I actually think that's a huge thing. So you have to be active. That takes, everything I'm talking about takes energy, I'm afraid. So listen, and if you really want to have friends, you have to listen. And if you really want to come to that other word, 4-letter word, which is really difficult, which is love, you really have to listen. Sometimes you have to listen through things. And you'll get it. And you all have friends. I hope you have people that you're attached to. You listen, right? You actually hear stuff. Yeah, so you probably know what I'm talking about. The other thing is to slow down. You guys are all in a huge rush. The whole kind of like 5 years of college in 4 years, or 4 years of college in 3 years. Where are you going? Right? Because you know what comes after college? Well, for most of you, I guess it'll be medical school or graduate school. But then after that, there's work. And you know when work ends? Never. So you're hurrying to the thing that it will be this. It will be similar, and eventually there'll be the whatever partner, maybe the kiddies, the house, the car, all the other responsibilities in life. This will be at one time you get to be irresponsible, and people will pay for you to be somewhere, to occasionally be irresponsible, to think weird thoughts, not to do real work in a sense. Schoolwork's not real work. Schoolwork's a privilege that you get to go to college classes and listen to experts talk about stuff, and in the end, it's not like you have to worry about a paycheck or something, right? I mean, there's a grade, and I understand the idea of work, but it's not like work like this, in a sense. Although I enjoy doing this, so I guess it's not really that bad. But slow down. Slow down and listen to people. The time you have is not really your time anyway. You can't keep it. Right? If your time was yours, you'd be able to keep it, right? But you can't keep it. It's gone. Which means it's a super hard thing for me. If my wife was here, she'd roll her eyes at me and laugh, because I'm terrible about this. But, right, we have that idea like, you're wasting my time. And sometimes that's legitimate. But are you really willing to cut away time from people and say, no, I just have to listen, or I have to help? Or do you BS them and say, well, I'm really busy, I can't do it. And then when they do it to you, you're like, you suck, right? Didn't make time for me. So my time's important, and your time is, well, I don't know. I don't care. But that's another big ask on my part. But that is also, right, that's being authentic with people. I guess if you really didn't want to listen to somebody, you would actually look them in the face and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to help you. But we don't do that, right? We just lie about it. I'm busy. Right? You're not being ethical then. You're not being honest. You're not being authentic. You're actually kind of insulting them. You're like, look, I don't want to deal with you as an emotional person, so I have to go somewhere. Right? Have you ever done that and got caught? It's a very unpleasant feeling. Like blew something up that like, I have to go somewhere. I have to help my parents or something, and then they find out you didn't. No, you never gotten caught. I'm certain you've gotten caught. No, you didn't feel you were just kind of like, or did you do the thing when you say, I'm sorry, you're bad at me? You understand what I'm getting at? That's dishonest too, as opposed to saying, yeah, that was a mean thing, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. Or do you say, well, okay, oops, and then, yes, and then, are you really able to say those? Say that. Because then if you're into the BS world, sorry means nothing, right? It's just a cover. I'm sorry. My younger son says it all the time. He's not allowed to say it to me anymore, literally, because it's just generic, right? It's your card out, right? As long as you say sorry, it's okay. Then you should maybe be honest with people and say no, it's not okay, because you're not being honest. And I would argue the person who uses it all the time is really kind of traveling between that kind of bullshit swing and the unethical swing, in that sense. So the other thing, real life is work, a lot of it. Notice they put the word real on the front of life. There's just no way around it. It's work. Has anybody ever read Eat Your Frog First? No, it's actually really short, and you can actually get it listened for like an hour and a half. It's the idea that if the hardest thing you have to do all day is eat a frog, then you should do it first. If you do the hardest thing first every day, then the rest of the day gets easier. And I think we live in the reverse. I'll take care of the little things right away. Oh, then I'll go to lunch. Then I'll have a conversation with my friends, so I'm kind of relaxed and I'm kind of sure. And then eventually the hard thing is tomorrow. And then you have 2 frogs to eat the next day. And so let me advocate to you. It's easy to find. You can just, eat your frog first if you want to. Because the guy's also very good about, have you ever made a list, not a list of what I need to do, but what I want to accomplish? So what I want to accomplish is different, right? What do I want to accomplish? But it could be tomorrow, Could be feeling, I don't mean one of those, what do I want to do in life? Because that's hard. But just for this week, right? Or for next week that you would set down, what do I want to accomplish next week? Also allows you to be more authentic with yourself. Because if you make a list and you're like, there's no way I'm going to get that done, then you got to pick, right? Because we start getting excited. You do the thing, the anal retentive thing, I make the list and I put a little box next to the thing so I can check it off, because there's that wonderful feeling when you check the box, right? Yeah, no? You just wander around hoping it'll land on you? It'll come to me when I need to do it. Yes? Is that what you do? No? I'm not going to say anything. Okay. And finally, I used the word perfect earlier. You can't be perfect. Hopefully IMSA taught you can't be perfect. Right? Perfect is the enemy of good. Right? You can be good. You can be great, but you can't be perfect. I'm far from it in every possible way. But just try. So, and even being, what I'm talking about being honest. You never be perfect at it. I think there's that idea, because I can't excel at it, I shouldn't bother, or I give up. I would argue too that it's in the being, because you'll never become it, so you're always trying to be it. And that's as good as it's going to get with that. You'll be an expert about something else. None of you will ever be expert about living an ethical life, otherwise you wouldn't have to listen. Somebody would have written a book about it and solved it. And because as humans we generally suck, and we like to serve ourselves, it's hard. So all the things I'm telling you that I want you to think about doing are actually hard. And you have 4 years of work, academic work coming, but I would hope you're looking forward to it. Yes? The freedom of it? Or have you created such an anxiety notion about it that it's actually freaking you out? Right? What is it? What was the quote? Today is the tomorrow that you were freaking out about yesterday. Today is the tomorrow you were freaking out about yesterday. But you're already halfway through the day and everything's mostly okay, right? That means every day then, the day you're freaking out about that next day, then you're through it, it wasn't a disaster. And in that sense, right, because you're only ever in this one day, right? And that, I think we tend to get so locked up about it that we can't really see kind of the positive overall notion. Okay, so on that note, let me finish by saying that I have faith that you're prepared. You're better prepared than a ton of other people. I interact with a lot of other teachers and stuff, and lately, because of my two sons, with other students who are actually really good Illinois high schools. You are better prepared. You're certainly better prepared in STEM than anybody. I'd like to say you're better prepared in humanities than the vast majority of other people, but that would be self-congratulatory. I'm sure if you had Dr. Willie's class, you're better prepared. But keep that in mind. And then make a point, right? Saying goodbye to people, right? Maybe think about how you would keep in touch is useful. And by the end of the day, Saturday, make sure you thanked your parents or your guardians or other folks who've helped you out. Because it's easy to get excited because it's a you moment, which it should be, but make sure you said thank you, right? Okay, let me end there. And so Dr. Don is done.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Eysturlid, for those words of wisdom. Next up to end the night, we have Dr. Don.
End the night.